Imagine a time when the West was taming, yet still brimming with the unexpected. What if I told you that in sunny California, far from the usual tales of dusty trails and gold rushes, an exotic bird farm became a bustling tourist hotspot, partly powered by a stunning vision of the future? Welcome back to Old West Unseen. I'm your guide, and today we uncover the strange and fascinating story of the Cawston Ostrich Farm and its remarkable solar motor, a true marvel from the weird West that hinted at a future hiding in the past.
Our journey begins not with cowboys or gold strikes, but with a rather more feathery enterprise. This colorful trifold pamphlet boldly announces the Cawston Ostrich Farm, nestled in South Pasadena, California. Notice the clear emphasis on it as a commercial venture, from feather production to souvenirs. It even highlights its accessibility via the electric railway, a nod to the modern conveniences drawing visitors to this unusual destination in the early 1900s.
The reverse of the pamphlet reveals the lucrative core of Cawston's operation, the booming ostrich feather industry. Elaborate feather arrangements are proudly displayed, with one particularly opulent display boasting the label $50,000 Feather Show, a staggering sum for the era. The text paints a picture of exotic animals, lush gardens, and an on-site feather factory, all designed to lure tourists with a blend of agricultural novelty and industrial spectacle. This was a serious business, capitalizing on a global fashion trend.
Step with us now, back to the year 1902. Here at the very threshold of the Cawston Ostrich Farm, stand a group of individuals, their formal attire speaking volumes. Men in suits and hats, women in long dresses and elaborate headwear. They are not here for rugged frontier life. They've come for an experience and attraction. The lush palm trees and rustic building hint at a carefully curated destination, more akin to a resort than a simple farm. This was clearly a place to see and be seen.
And what an operation it was. This photograph from 1902, despite its octagonal mat, gives us a sense of the flock's impressive scale. Edwin Cawston's farm eventually housed over 1,000 of these giant birds, a testament to the surprising success of this exotic agricultural venture in Southern California. Structures and a substantial tree in the background suggest a well-established facility, built to accommodate this unusual livestock and the crowds they drew.
Here again, under the bright California sky, we observe several ostriches gathered within their fenced enclosure. The ground appears dry and dusty, a typical Southern California landscape. Yet it became the unlikely home for these African natives. The long wooden fence and distant trees frame a scene of disciplined agriculture, focused entirely on these remarkable birds, whose plumes were highly prized in the fashion capitals of the world. The handwritten caption simply reads, "At the Ostrich Farm," a straightforward label for an extraordinary place.
It wasn't just about viewing from afar. Direct interaction was a key part of the Cawston experience. This 1902 image captures a moment between man and bird. As a farm employee, or perhaps a daring visitor in early 20th century attire, feeds a large ostrich over a wooden fence. Imagine the blend of curiosity and trepidation one might feel getting this close to such a powerful and exotic creature. This was part of the thrill, but also the mystery. Part of the story visitors would take home with them. But the Cawston Ostrich Farm was evolving beyond simple agriculture or even a zoological exhibit. Look closely at this intriguing photograph. Ostriches graze in their enclosure, while in the background, the unmistakable structure of a Ferris wheel looms. This juxtaposition reveals the farm's clever strategy, blending its unique agricultural focus with the popular appeal of an amusement park. It was becoming a full-fledged entertainment destination in early 1900s Southern California, offering a truly unique day out amidst the exotic birds and the curious onlookers. Something even more astonishing began to take shape. Here, a lone figure stands near his ostriches, utterly dwarfed by an immense, almost alien structure. This was no ordinary piece of farm machinery. This metallic behemoth, glinting under the California sun, was a massive solar concentrator. A true vision of the future, unexpectedly sprouting on an ostrich farm. What could its purpose be? The visionary behind this marvel was an inventor named Aubrey Eneas. This is his United States patent drawing, filed in 1901 for what he termed a solar generator. The detailed schematics, with their precise labeling and signatures, reveal a remarkably sophisticated understanding of solar mechanics and engineering. It's a testament to the era's innovative spirit, with ambitious minds like Eneas looking to harness the very power of the sun for practical use, even in the so-called Old West period.
And here it stands, in all its metallic glory, the solar motor itself, proudly situated at the Cawston Ostrich Farm in South Pasadena. Its enormous parabolic dish, a mosaic of over 1,788 individual mirrors, spanned an impressive 35 feet at its widest point and weighed 8,300 pounds. This wasn't merely a quaint experiment. This was a functional, heavy-duty machine designed for daily operation and becoming a spectacle in its own right, a true example of the Weird West where innovation knew no bounds. By 1902, the solar motor, as this handwritten caption calls it, was a significant draw. Formally dressed visitors, perhaps initially lured by the ostriches, now gathered to observe this technological wonder. Imagine their astonishment. This colossal machine, powered solely by sunlight, was capable of pumping an incredible 1,400 gallons of water per minute from a deep well on the farm. It was this water that transformed the arid land into the lush gardens visitors admired, a true marriage of nature and futuristic technology.
The engineering prowess behind Eneas's solar motor was truly remarkable for its time. This image showcases the intricate metal framework supporting the massive reflective dish and the central cylindrical boiler where the sun's rays were concentrated. It was, as Applied Science magazine described it in 1902, like a giant sunflower automatically keeping its shining face toward the sun. An equatorial mounting similar to those used with large astronomical telescopes allowed it to track the sun's path with precision.
This closer view reveals more of the sophisticated machinery. Note the segmented, reflected surface of the large parabolic dish, designed to capture and focus maximum sunlight. The visible gears and complex aiming mechanism underscore the ambition of this experimental device. It was heavily ribbed with steel and cradled in a tall iron framework, engineered to move its considerable weight smoothly, ensuring it constantly faced the sun to boil the 1,000 gallons of water within its boiler, generating steam for the engine. The Cawston Ostrich Farm and its solar motor didn't exist in a vacuum. They were part of a California experiencing a tourism boom. Here, at a bustling train station in 1902, travelers, predominantly women, await their connections. The large trunks piled beside them speak of extended stays, drawn by the promise of California's sunshine, burgeoning cities, and unique attractions. The railroad was the artery bringing this new wave of visitors west.
California's transportation landscape at the turn of the century was a fascinating blend of the old and the new. These women and a child enjoy a leisurely ride on horses and mules through a hilly, vegetated landscape. Yet, in the distance on the left, a steam train cuts through the scene. This juxtaposition perfectly captures the era. Traditional means of exploration coexisting with the modern marvel of rail, both offering ways to experience the diverse Californian terrain.
Once visitors arrived by train, local transport, like these substantial, covered horse-drawn carriages, became essential. This 1902 photograph shows two such vehicles, likely from a livery stable ready for service. With their heavy, spoked wheels, they were well suited for navigating local roads, ferrying tourists to destinations like the Ostrich Farm, hotels, or on scenic drives through developing towns. The octagonal border of the print adds a period touch to this scene of everyday travel.
However, alongside the burgeoning rail lines and finer tourist carriages, more traditional forms of transport and labor endured. This 1902 image shows two oxen patiently pulling a large wooden-wheeled cart along a simple dirt road, a person in a wide-brimmed hat guiding them. Such animal teams were still crucial for hauling goods, agriculture, and construction in many parts of California. A reminder that progress moved at different speeds across the vast state.
For those with the means, California was rapidly cultivating an image of sophisticated leisure. Behold the Grand Hotel del Coronado in San Diego, captured here in 1902. A woman in period attire sits on a low wall, perhaps contemplating the ocean breeze, while men in suits stroll the path. This iconic Victorian structure, with its distinctive octagonal shape and turrets, was a beacon of luxury, drawing affluent visitors to experience California's burgeoning resort life and sunny climate.
Here is another perspective of the magnificent Hotel del Coronado, showcasing its massive scale and ornate Victorian architecture. With its multiple turrets and gabled roofs, it dominated the coastal landscape near San Diego. A road or perhaps a railway track runs through the foreground, indicating its accessibility. The Del, as it came to be known, wasn't just a hotel. It was a destination in itself, a symbol of California's growing appeal to high-end tourists in the early 1900s. Step into the inner sanctum, the Hotel Coronado's famed courtyard, photographed in 1902. Lush palm trees and other tropical plants create a verdant oasis around the grand hotel building, with its wraparound balconies. An ornate metal bench with intricate scrollwork sits invitingly beside a curved walkway. One can almost hear the rustle of silk dresses and the murmur of polite conversation. This was the epitome of refined relaxation, a world away from the dusty trails, often associated with the West.
coastal leisure was becoming a defining feature of the California experience. In this 1902 scene, two women in early 20th century attire are seated comfortably on chairs and a bench along a sunny oceanfront promenade. Large, striking palm trees dominate the left foreground, framing a picture of serene relaxation. Further down the path, a man strolls, completing this idyllic vision of a leisurely afternoon by the sea, a common pastime for visitors and locals alike. The allure of California's raw, natural beauty often drew visitors to more rugged settings, even if their attire remained stubbornly formal. Here, near Santa Cruz in 1902, a man and woman, impeccably dressed, stand perched on large rocks along a wild, rocky coastline. Waves crash dramatically behind them, a stark contrast to their refined clothing. It speaks of a desire to connect with nature, albeit on their own terms. A Victorian-era sensibility meeting the untamed Pacific.
The Santa Cruz coastline offered many such dramatic vistas. This sepia-toned photograph from 1902 perfectly captures the raw power of the Pacific as waves explode over a large rock formation. A prominent natural arch, carved by millennia of coastal erosion, is visible through the spray. Such striking geological features were significant attractions, drawing tourists eager to witness and photograph the sublime power of nature along the California coast.
Beyond the dramatic coastline, California's ancient redwood forests held a special mystique. These three individuals, clad in early 1900s clothing, posed proudly beside the enormous Fremont tree, located in what is now Henry Cowell Redwood State Park near Santa Cruz. The giant redwood, with a visible sign and a distinctively hollowed base, dwarfs them completely. Their attire and the flowers held by one suggest a formal visit to this revered natural landmark, a highlight of early ecotourism.
The sheer, awe-inspiring scale of California's big trees, like this one near Santa Cruz in 1902, was a profound experience for visitors from across the country and the world. Standing in the presence of these ancient, colossal beings, some already centuries old, offered a humbling perspective on time and nature. These magnificent redwood groves quickly became essential stops on any comprehensive California travel itinerary, leaving an indelible impression on all who witnessed them.
Leisure in the developing West often took on charmingly rustic forms, even for the well-dressed. Here, we see two women, complete with fashionable hats and early 20th century attire, seated somewhat precariously atop donkeys in an outdoor setting of trees and hills. A third person is visible behind them. The sepia tone and unusual octagonal border of this 1902 photograph add to its quaint appeal, capturing a moment of slightly adventurous, yet subtly awkward experience, if unconventional, Western outing. Whether traveling by train, carriage, or even donkey, journeys in 1902 involved moments of necessary respite and simple pleasures. This delightful scene, presented within an octagonal photographic frame, shows three people, two women and a man, in their Edwardian-era attire, seated outdoors and seemingly sharing bottled refreshments. They appear relaxed in a natural setting with foliage behind them, capturing a candid pause during what was likely a day of exploration or travel.
And sometimes, amidst the grandeur and the typical tourist pursuits, the traveler in 1902 might encounter something utterly unexpected, a truly quirky slice of local life. This group portrait shows several adults and children, some in wide-brimmed hats that hint at a southwestern context. But the most striking feature is the very young child in the foreground, inexplicably dressed as a clown, complete with a large, ruffled collar. What was the occasion? We can only wonder at this delightful and slightly baffling historical moment. Aubrey Eneas's ambitious solar motor at the Cawston Ostrich Farm was, sadly, short-lived. The rise of inexpensive fuel from easily accessible oil fields, coupled with its vulnerability, one was famously destroyed by a hailstorm in Arizona in 1903, meant it was doomed from the start. However, the dream of harnessing the sun's power did not die with it. This popular science magazine cover from the 1930s, featuring a large solar energy concentrator, demonstrates that the spark of solar innovation, though perhaps deferred, continued to flicker, awaiting its time. The Cawston Ostrich Farm and Eneas's solar motor stand as a peculiar yet potent testament to the ingenuity and sometimes eccentric dreams that characterized the turn-of-the-century West. Though cheap oil and harsh elements overshadowed this early solar ambition, this brief, shining moment in South Pasadena reminds us that the seeds of the future were often planted in the most unexpected corners of the past. Thank you for joining us on Old West Unseen. If there's a photograph or story from the Old West you'd like us to explore, please share your suggestions in the comments below. Your insights often guide our next journey. We'd be obliged if you'd like this video and subscribe for more journeys. Until next time, may your trails be clear.